Hi guys, Miss Nikki here at the Public Library of Mount Vernon in Knox County. I'm here for the Book Adventurers Club. We are going to be working on the heart pump model, and that will actually be a craft bag coming up in February. So it'll be super duper fun. So this had all of our supplies and everything. So now I've got the little directions here, but it's actually pretty easy. So we're going to start off, we're going to cut the balloon, and then, oh, we got to put water in here. We can't miss like one of the most important parts. Actually, we don't need water in that one. I goofed. That's what happens with experiments. You goof. And it says that you can use food coloring if you want. It said to use red, but I thought the blue would be kind of cool. Let it kind of swirl around in there. All right, so then you've got your balloon. We cut the little end, and then we put it over the top of the jar. All right, then you guys will be getting a toothpick. It seems to be fairly okay to do. And I want to make sure it says, yep, and you want to make a hole in here. So with the toothpick, and you might even need a little bit of scissors because that might work a little bit better. So take your straws, put one through each hole. Okay. All right, can you see that one? I don't know if we can, yeah, there it is. So we're just gonna put another one beside it. Oop. See that? That's why I sent a bunch of toothpicks home, because that will happen. All right. So you've got this guy here. And then, let's see. Let me set aside. This is what we need. Yeah. Yeah. We're doing it right so far. We'll see. Let's see if I can find that other hole. I need scissors again. Maybe the toothpicks aren't the greatest thing. But when you listen to directions, sometimes that's how things go. All right, almost got it. Oh. It's not cooperating. There we go. All right. And then we are to take this other part and tape it on here. All right, guys, so we had to pause for a minute because this was not cooperating for me at all. But I think we've got it figured out. We just switched the jars. So I've got the little bit bigger jar to the little bit smaller one. But be prepared, it's going to get messy, okay? So I'll try this again. Oop! Maybe we'll put this jar up here, or this little cup thing. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Woo! It's worked. So that is a working like heart pump model. So super fun, super messy, which is always a good thing. So just make sure you have, little towels or something to clean up your mess. And then, so that's all. You guys can pick those up. I believe it's the second week of February. And then I'm going to read a little bit of a book to kind of show you guys some different stuff that we have here that you can check out. All right? All right, guys. So we did a little thing about a heart pump model. And this is called Cog Heart. So I thought that sounded pretty cool. And it's by Peter Bunzel. So what I'm going to do is just kind of read the first, 3 or 4 pages. And it's got a cool little map inside there you can kind of check out if you decide to come in and, check out the book. Because you might get sucked in. It's going to sound pretty cool. So I'll just do a little prologue and maybe a little bit of chapter 1. Okay? So Malkin pressed his forepaws against the flight deck window and peered out. The silver airship was still following, gaining on them. The purr of its propellers and the whoosh of its knife-sharp hull cutting through the air sent a shiver of terror through his clockwork innards. The fox tore his eyes away and stared at his master. John's ship, Dragonfly, was fast, but she had nothing in the way of firepower. The silver airship, by contrast, bristled with weapons. Sharp metal spikes stuck out from her hull, making her look like some sort of militarized porcupine. Just then, Dragonfly's rudder shifted, and she pitched as John twisted the wheel into a 180 turn to swoop back past her pursuers. The silver airship shrunk away, but within seconds, she swung around to follow. She began closing in once more, propellers chopping through the clouds, throwing dark shadows across their stern. When the two airships broke into a patch of blue, she fired. A harpoon slashed across the sky and thudded into Dragonfly's hull, the point piercing her port side. Thud, another harpoon speared into the stern. Malkin let out a bark alarm as the stench of burning gas filled the flight deck, and the needles in the rows of instruments panel flickered into the red danger zones. Over the whine of their stalling engines, the crackle of straining steel cables could be heard. The silver airship had begun to pull them in. John locked Dragon Wheel's fly and engaged her autopilot. He threw open the cockpit door and, with Malkin at his heels, dashed toward the engine room. Pistons pumped and crankshafts turned at full power, while the cabin juddered and shook. In the center of the floor, a metal egg-shaped pod sat among a tangle of pipes. John threw open its door. "No room for both of us," he said. "You go, Malkin." The fox gave a whimper of disapproval. "No, it should be you, John. Humans over mechanicals, it's the law." John shook his head. "I can't leave my ship. I need to try and guide her down safely, and you've no opposable thumbs." He gave a half-hearted laugh and withdrew a battered envelope from his pocket. Crouching down, he stuffed it into a leather pouch around Malkin's neck. "This is for my Lily. See that she gets it." "What's in there?" "Secrets. Tell her to keep them safe. She mustn't tell anyone about them, not ever. Can you remember that?" "I think so." Malkin prodded the pouch, sniffing at it with his nose. "Good. Make for Brackenbridge. That's where she'll be. If I get out of this alive, I'll come find her. Is there anything else? And tell her I love her. It's at least a day's journey from here. Have you enough clicks?" He nodded. "Take your winder anyway." Produced a tarnished key on a chain and hung it around the fox's neck next to the pouch. "Though heaven knows who'll wind you if I'm not there." "Thank you, John." Malkin stepped into the escape pod and curled up on the seat. "By all that ticks, I hope to see you again. And I you, old friend." With a clatter and hum, the pod doors opened, and in a jolt, the pod was free. As John watched it through the open hatch, shrinking away in the sky, an image of his daughter Lily flashed into his mind. If only he could see her one last time, tell her the truth. He should have done it long ago, but he'd not been brave enough. Now Malkin would have to take care of things. Everything was in the letter. Another harpoon smashed through Dragonfly's hull, and whirring saw blades cut through the steel ribs, ripping cracks in the ship's tin chest. In a jagged screech, the cracks were wrenched into a doorway, and two silhouetted figures appeared. Their silver eyes glinted in the light. The thinner of the figures raised a stick with a skull handle. Then John felt a blinding shaft of pain, and everything went black. Ooh, I'm going to leave it at that because that's where chapter 1 starts. So that actually sounds like a pretty interesting story. I may have to finish this at some point. So you guys enjoy, and I hope you liked all the stuff, and come in and get a craft bag. We'll see you later. Thanks.